What is that? Hello? What is it? I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry everyone. We are trying to figure out why there is a dial tone happening. So give us a moment as we get our systems adjusted. Can someone, I wanted to let you all know that there is a chat option over to the right. And so all attendees and participants, you can type your questions into the chat box over on the right-hand side of your screen. You will not be able to, we can't hear you speak, but any questions that you have for any of us, then please feel free to include those in the chat and we will respond to them as they come up. And so I just wanted to start out by introducing, these are 5 of our very generous international students who have joined us here to just talk a little bit about life at the University of Kansas and about what their experiences have been like. And so to start out with, we will have each person quickly go around and just introduce themselves and say where they're from and their major, and then from there, we do have a few questions for the students just to give you all an idea about what student life is like here at KU. So if you guys want to start.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I'm a sophomore studying human bio and psychology.
And where are you from?
Oh, true. I'm from Spain.
Sorry.
Hi, I'm Natalia. I'm from Venezuela and I'm studying electrical engineering.
Hi, my name is Adrian. I'm from Honduras and I'm a freshman studying chemical engineering.
Hello, I'm Rohan. I'm from India. I'm a junior studying computer science and also have a minor in business.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abraham. I'm a sophomore studying aerospace engineering, and I'm from Nigeria.
I'm Seth, and I'm not a student. I'm here to kind of moderate the discussion.
And Seth and myself, you can't see me because I'm not in front of the camera. We are part of the International Recruitment and Undergraduate Admissions staff. My name is Summer, and Seth has a list of questions for the students that will kind of get the conversation going. But as I mentioned, in the meantime, if you have any questions that you would like to ask, please send those to us in the chat, and we will include those in our discussion as well.
All right. So, how are we this morning?
Good.
Good. All right. We want to start off just by talking about first impressions of campus. What did you think when you got here?
Why is it so hilly?
Why is it?
And it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, I got lost the first couple times I came. I was like, everything looks the same. Where am I?
And some of the buildings have really good architecture, like old style. These look amazing. First impression, like this is so beautiful. Yeah. And it was like summertime, the trees and the leaves. It was all colorful.
Yeah, and that is something to note about Kansas. We do have 4 distinct seasons, and right now we're in fall or autumn, and so all the leaves are changing, and so campus does look a lot different during different times of year.
And so thinking about like your first week here, I know there's orientation happens and all of that, but what resources on campus did you use to get settled into your new lives as students?
I feel like the orientation process as a whole was just one humongous resource that was really amazing. like from that process, like I just got to meet so many people that I'm still best friends with right now, and like it was just an amazing experience, just like getting to adjust to KU and like finding so many people who are also in the same boat, adjusting and just making friends from there. It was awesome.
And during the orientation, you have put in like groups, and each group has a leader, and that leader is like the best resource you have for the, of course, for the next couple of years, but also for the next, 10 to 15 days to help you, go to Walmart, navigate campus, how to figure out who your advisor is, academics and everything. And I think they were really helpful.
Great. I'm very happy to hear that.
And so, thinking about academics and, of course, you'll go to classes, from the moment you wake up in the morning until you go to bed at night, you're in class, right?
Kind of. Feels that way.
What opportunities have you had to kind of enrich your experience beyond all of that? What do you do outside of class that's related to your academics and isn't homework?
Well, there's a lot of student organizations here on KU, so anything that you might be interested in, there is going to be a club about it. So you get to join them and be part of them and be part of their activities. So a lot of the extracurricular stuff come from that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, also taking up like a leadership role in a club or organization is also really sweet. It's a great opportunity. You kind of push yourself a little bit, but it's awesome to like just experience that kind of responsibility. Yeah.
And you also have like on-campus jobs which are like really different, like the kind of job you do. For example, I'm a computer science major, and in my freshman year, I got a programming job. So that was like not homework, not academics, but it was helping me like understand like how the industry works and everything. And that was an on-campus job. That was good. And then there's another job, like the orientation leader job. And I'm an international student. I like meeting other students. So even that job was like nice, and I made lots of friends. It was a fun job.
Mm-hmm. And something to point out here, 3 of these students, do you want to raise your hands, who are our international student ambassadors? And then Adrian, do you want to raise your hand? He is actually a student worker here in our office, in the International Admissions Office. And Rohan is, speaking of student groups, he is also part of the Indian Student Association. Is that the right name? And so, yeah, there's tons of activities and organizations that you can join. Seth, it says that they can't quite hear your voice as clearly, and so I don't know if that has to do with your position in the room.
Something to do probably with the way I present myself.
So maybe
I'll speak up. Yeah, I'll speak up. I'll speak into the camera. No problem. So, getting back to student organizations, what student organizations are you a part of that have been especially meaningful to you?
Do we go like in line?
Yeah,
Just, I trust you to.
Okay. You should go first. I can go.
I'm actually the president for the Autism Awareness Association in KU, which is called Believe Autism Matters. And then I'm also involved with CCO, which is a volunteering related organization. So basically, they offer students a bunch of programs related to different things. So for example, if you want to work with old people, or you want to work with children, or you want to, I don't know, whatever you want to do, there are lots of programs in different areas, and so you can volunteer in those. Yeah.
Well, I'm part of the Society of Women Engineers.
Awesome.
Which I really like because it gives me an opportunity to connect with people that are going the same thing I'm going through. And I'm also part of the Model of the United Nations, which I love because it gives me a chance to do something that I don't do in engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to travel a lot, which is awesome. A lot of the student group get to travel to conferences or competitions, and we do that. And I love that too. So.
What have you seen of the United States outside of Lawrence that was really cool?
Well,
as a part of that.
Right. The cities we've been to have been pretty awesome. We get to sightsee some, which is pretty cool. And also we get to meet people from a lot of other universities. So also students, but that they're going kind of the same thing we're going through, but we all have so many different backgrounds, so that's pretty cool.
Since I'm a freshman, I'm kind of like testing the waters still. I'm in the chemistry club and the AICHE, which is American Institute for Chemical Engineers. So that's like very cool because you meet a lot of people who like go through, like who have gone through what you go through, and you get to know like what classes will be like the hardest ones, or what's really cool, and they get you very interested about your major. I'm also in like club volleyball, and that's pretty cool because you get to go to a lot of universities as well. You go out of Florida, and you get to meet a lot of people and like kind of de-stress of what.
I'm a part of the TEDx KU organization. I really like watching TED videos. So there was this on-campus organization called TEDx KU, so I joined it, and I'm the co-marketing chair. And it's what we do is, so there's like TED and there's TEDx, which probably most of you know. There's like other kinds of small TED events that we do on campus, and I help them organize it. And we have speakers coming in every week who like talk to our organization and people who attend the meetings. And I'm Indian, so I'm also part of the Association of Indian Students. I'm the president this year, and we do all sorts of events like Diwali, Holi, Ganesh Chaturthi, and Independence Day and everything, and it's fun. And it's a really good way to get to know the Indian community here. And these organizations help you like take up leadership positions, which teach you a lot of things. It exposes you to various offices at KU, the different kinds of students at KU. And you don't necessarily need to take up a leadership position to join a student organization. Like I'm a part of the KU badminton club, and all I do is just go there and play badminton, and I'm not a leader. I just go there and like enjoy.
Yeah, I'm involved with the ISA, that's the International Students Association. I'm also a member of NSBE, which is the National Society of Black Engineers, and I also volunteer a lot with the CCO. Yeah.
That's great. And that's something, from what everyone has shared here, I want to point out that a lot of the things they are involved in and that you could potentially get involved in don't necessarily have to be focused on academics or have to do directly with your major. There are so many things, and like several of them mentioned, there are so many activities to join and be a part of that teach you a lot of skills that will eventually help you in a career, but it doesn't have to be directly related to your academics.
So in your copious free time, what do you do?
Sit in my room and watch a movie.
If the weather is nice, I like going to downtown. Casper, that's like a burger place, or just some. So Mass Street is like the street of Lawrence where all the restaurants are, some shopping, some good shops and everything is there. And I just go with my friends, grab some food, have a good time.
Same, going to Mass Street, it's like, I live like 2 streets away, so I just kind of walk a little bit, and just walking around Mass Street is really nice. There's many places to go.
And if you're living on campus, if you're living in one of the dorms, if you have free time, all you need to do is just go out in the lobby, and there's going to be tons of friends sitting there. You can play FIFA, you can play some board games, or you can just go to like the dining center and just meet up with some friends, eat food. There's a lot you can do if you're living on campus.
Great. What about you guys? What do you do for fun?
Yeah, related to that, actually, I work as a resident assistant in Jayhawks Towers, and so through that job, I got to meet a lot of people. So basically, I meet with that people either in one of the apartments or in Mrs. E's when you go to have lunch or dinner or something. So,
And that's one of the dining halls.
oh yeah,
Right. Yeah, well, mostly what they said is hang out, sleep. When there's free time, sleep is solid movies. And yeah, I like to go to movies. There's 2 movie theaters in Florence, or yeah, downtown is pretty nice too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of restaurants.
And so in comparison to the cities where you guys came from, is Lawrence small?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
But do you like it? Like, do you feel like there's still plenty to do, a lot of activities, a lot of things to
It's
entertain
nice.
you?
Yeah, it's nice that
Yeah.
it's small because we can walk. Like back at home, I could not walk anywhere. So here I can walk everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
It's perfect for university, like, you know, you're able to like have
Yeah.
fun and stay in a safe environment. Growth is perfect for that.
Awesome. Great.
All right. Sue, life in the United States, what was the most surprising thing about it?
Free refills.
That is so funny. What was the answer?
Free refills.
Free refills on drinks
That is
everywhere. Yeah, that's the most surprising thing.
But that is exactly what I'm interested in.
And we have a couple questions here from participants that are specifically for Rohan. Let's look at those. What's the thing that makes this university different from Indian universities? And also, what is life like here for an Indian student?
Okay. So, well, I haven't been to an Indian university, obviously, but from what my friends tell me, so the curriculum here is, what they try to do is they just don't try to, like, I'm studying computer science, so they just don't try to make you an engineer. In addition to all the computer science classes that I'm taking, it was like mandatory for me to take like public speaking class. So in which they taught me how to speak at an awards function, how to, you know, do a TED talk, how to conduct a meeting. So they teach you all these things. And what they try to do is they encourage you to participate in things that are non-academic. For example, I'm a part of the honors program, and my honors advisor, really pushed me to take up a volunteering opportunity. So there's this on-campus student organization called Alternative Breaks. What they do is they send all these students to different places in the United States, different cities, where we volunteer. And KU is pretty generous with the funding, so I received funding to go to this place. And one of my professors really pushed me to go to a conference in Harvard. It's in February. It's called the Harvard India Conference. And so I looked it up. I applied for funding. I got funding. So I'll be going there. It's completely non-academic. It's about India, but it's a good opportunity. The professors push you to do stuff outside school. I'll be missing a few days of classes, and my professors are completely fine with that, and they're like really encouraging me to go do that. How is it different from universities in India? Also, so in an Indian university, you tend to live on campus. You know the food is cooked. So like you go to these university canteens for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Everything is like, you know, served on a plate for you. Like, you know, other things too. Like here, you like you're like living by yourself. You're probably working part-time on campus. You're earning your own money. You're paying your own rent. You're paying your own bills and everything. In India, your parents do all these things for you. You know, you just keep getting the money. You know, they pay for all these things. Here, you need to like, here you know that you don't have a safety net, so you need to manage your expenses, set aside money for, you know, a rainy day and everything.
So you feel like you're learning additional life skills
Mm-hmm.
and independence by.
Yes, you're a lot more independent here.
There's a couple of other great questions here that are for everyone. The first one, which this is always a great question, is what was the best thing that made you choose KU and not any other university?
So like I applied to a bunch of universities and I looked at aerospace programs because that's what I wanted to do. And I mean, all of the aerospace programs are amazing. So if I was basing my choice just off aerospace programs, then I wouldn't have been able to make a decision. But something that really attracted me to KU was the sense of community. I feel like everyone is just out there living and we all like try to support each other in every way we can. There's just this feeling of just like this general consensus about like life and just making sure everyone is included in everything and like going to basketball games and just that feeling of like 16,000 other KU fans around you, just like cheering the Jayhawks on. So yeah, that sense of community just really, really sold me on KU.
What about you guys?
Well, you can.
Any of you?
What like really got me into KU, I guess, would be the honors program. Because when I started reading about it, it was like the second best, like for a student in the U.S. So like, oh, well, that's pretty cool. And I mean, that's what like really got me. Besides, I guess KU is very unique. So like I've never seen a Jayhawk before, and I think you've never seen
That's the
something
Jayhawk
like
in the
that
middle of the table.
in any other university.
So, well, I came here as an exchange student for the high school. So first, I didn't even know KU was a thing when I came here.
You came to Lawrence?
Yeah, to one of the high schools.
Okay.
And then I got to see KU, I got to meet with some teachers and like actually come to campus and see it before applying. So that was pretty cool. Like being able to be here before actually being a student here was pretty awesome because you get to see how everything works, kind of. Like you see the people walking to their classes, you get to go to the union, which is the student center. So yeah, and I felt like I would love to be here, you know? Like once you're here, I feel like you'll realize that this is a great place.
Before I came here, I had a chance to get in touch with some of the students here, and they kind of explained me how life is here for a student, and they were telling me like every morning if you like just get out of your apartment, you're gonna see like tons of students just walking to class, and then everybody goes back home, and then these very students like work as waiters or some like part-time job and they earn money, and they told me how life here was independent and how like students are just everywhere, like everywhere. So that really got me interested. Like there's just so many students here, like you just look around and they're just everywhere.
And that is something that's unique to this type of university, where we are in a small university town. It's kind of a hard atmosphere to try to describe, but the community and the students being so interspersed within the community members, and like you guys, what you're mentioning is right. That is part of what makes KU and a university like this special, that everywhere you go, there are students, and that the community is really invested in the university and the success of the students. And so, yeah, it is a unique type of atmosphere, I think. Another question is for everyone is, how different is your life in the U.S. than the country where you were born?
So different. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to give some examples of like what's the most different thing between the U.S. and
Food is so different. I had to say, it's just super important.
Have you found food that you do like here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. But I don't know, the thing that I miss the most about Spain basically is the food.
The food. Yeah.
I think what he said is so true. Like when you get here, you have to be so independent. And I know if I had to go to university back at home, I would not be independent at all. So this is pretty awesome to make, my own decisions, go to a grocery store on my own, buy my food. I think it's pretty cool.
And back home, you're like pampered by your parents. Here,
Yeah.
you don't have anybody. Yeah.
Just university faculty and staff.
Right. You of course have advisors and professors. Right. But you are right. You have to learn independently.
And then you come here, you just make so many friends in your like freshman year and during your rotation. Over like a period of say a year or two, you start like developing a family here, which is really nice.
That's a great way
Like
to put it.
everybody like looks after everyone else, and like you know that there's somebody for you.
Yeah.
There's also
You go.
there's also a lot of gummies here, so that's pretty awesome. So much candy.
Gummy candy is your favorite candy?
Well, yeah, gummy candy. That's my favorite.
I don't know. Chocolate.
No.
Right
Yeah,
now,
chocolate.
peanut butter M&Ms are my thing. Okay, so let's see what the next questions are. It's another one for Rohan. Says, do you plan, and I think this could go for anyone, do you guys plan to work for a foreign company? I think like maybe plan to stay in the US and work after you're done, or do you plan to return back home?
When I first came here, I was like, after 4 years, I want to go back to my home with my parents and everything. But I spent like 2.5 years here, and I would probably I would highly probably want to work for a company here, because the work culture here is a lot better than what it is in India. You get paid better, and I think in US there are a lot more opportunities to grow as an individual. So yes, I would like to work for a foreign company here.
What about you guys? Any ideas yet?
I think for me, the aerospace sector of my country is still developing. It's developing very slowly, but still developing. And I think they have plans to actually really start working on our aerospace program at least by 2022, I think was the plan. And I'm graduating in 2020, so I kind of just looking at it if I see that they're actually going very far with their program, then yeah, I want to go back home and be part of that development.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I guess that I would like to work for a foreign company here, but to gain some experience to take back home and do something in my country, that it's usually there's not much in there, help trigger progress or something.
Right. It could be you.
Who knows?
Right.
I think one of the other opportunities is that you can go to graduate school. So I'm not sure if after graduate school I'll stay or I'll go, but I would like to maybe continue in the United States and go to graduate school here, because education, it's such a higher level of education here compared to what it would be back at home or other countries too.
Yeah, I also plan to stay here. I want to go into medical school, and it's way much better compared to Spain. I don't know, the education is different, but better.
There's a couple questions that are specific about actually applying, which I will address at the end. But in the meantime, there's a student who would like to know more about research opportunities. So have any of you participated in research here?
Actually, next semester, I'm going to be working as a research assistant. Personally, for me, the way it worked is, since I'm also a psychology major, there's a specific class, Psych 480, that it's basically you will work as research assistant for a professor. So basically, they get you connected with a professor, and you do research related to the subject that professor is researching. I don't know that, but yeah, so that's what I would be doing. Actually, I think there's a lot of research opportunities here. Not just that, that was an easy way for me to get one, but also there's a undergraduate research center, I think it's called. And you can develop your own research project, if you have personal questions or curiosities about the world, whatever you want to do research on, you can just get connected with a mentor or professor, and you develop your own research with the help of that professor. But it's actually your own project. I don't know, that's pretty cool.
That's great. Is anyone else doing research right now?
Well, I'm not doing it right now, but I'll be starting in the last week of November.
Okay.
And it's the thing that's cool about this is that I'll be working with 7 other students who are also undergraduates. So it will be a team of 8 students, and it will be led by a scientist. And it's it has to do with water, atmosphere, glaciers, and all related to computer science. And I haven't started working there, but my supervisor, Dr. Payton, who is a scientist, he's been he told me again and again that school comes first and then research, and he's made sure that he gives me flexible hours to work. He's you decide when you want to work, before school, after school. And so if I have exams this week, I can take a week off so that I can study and then come back and do research.
Right. And there's a lot of also research seminars that you can take, so it gives you credit for to graduate as well, and you're doing research at the same time, which I think is pretty cool.
And that's something about the U.S. education system is we have what are referred to as electives. And so sometimes you can sign up for those research seminar, where it's essentially a class that would meet one of your elective or one of your science requirements, something, depending on the focus of your research. But so you're earning the same number of credits for doing that research as you would for taking a regular classroom class taught by a professor. And so it's just a different way to add different flexibility to your curriculum, which there's quite a bit of that here. Students are able to tailor their own degree programs based on what coursework or they decide to choose. And so that's a good point regarding research, that you can make that a part of your program as well. There are a couple questions here that are very similar that talk about, was it difficult to adjust when you got here? Like they know that it's difficult to adjust to a foreign country. And so, was it difficult being away from everyone back home, or what was that experience like for you guys?
I think like there's period. It's kind of funny because when I got here, like the day my parents left, I was like destroyed, but the day after I was like pumped. And then 6 months later, I was like depressed again, and then 6 months happy. So it's funny because like, you'll get to that. Like sometimes it feels so nice to be here and with like everyone else, and we're all going through the same things. There's so many international students that it's like so easy to connect, to be honest. But there's always gonna be moments of your year where you're like, God, I miss my brother, like my friends, my family, my mom, my dog, But I think overall it's definitely worth it, even if there's periods where you're sad.
So what do you guys do when you're feeling like that? Like, how do you stay connected to back home, and how do you get over those, periods when you are really homesick?
Just keep FaceTiming your parents all the time.
Oh my God.
Actually, the other way, they keep FaceTiming.
Yeah, you're like your mom's face. I
It's not like
FaceTime
not
every
pick up
day.
your mom's call, because she's just gonna keep calling you again.
It's so funny. Actually, when I get those periods, I literally call my mom like twice a day. Like in the morning, hi, and good afternoon, please show me my dog. And that makes me feel better.
Yeah, that's
I mean, yeah, when you come here, it's a difficult phase. You're trying to, get used to the life here. There's like culture shocks and everything. But that's difficult in a good way, because you like learn how to live by yourself, and eventually you get settled down. You make friends who are just like you. And it's not like very easy for the American students either, because even they're coming from like some different cities, some different states. So everybody like knows everybody, like feels everybody, and you're just there for everybody else. It's nice.
There's another question that talks about how safe is it in Kansas for an international student? And so do you guys want to address like how safe you feel, and if you ever have any concerns about that?
The last time I locked my house was about 3 or 4 months ago.
Damn, that's great.
Wow.
I think you're pushing it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like 5 of us living in the house, but
So there's
yeah. In the morning and we're walking back home, we're completely fine. Oh, and there's a safe ride facility at KU.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's pretty
So
awesome.
some of us talked about how everybody likes going to downtown or Mass Street. We usually go out on like Friday nights, Saturday nights, and it gets dark, it gets late. So KU has this facility which takes you from wherever you are and drops you off to your home for free. You just need to call them, give them your KU ID and your address, and they just pick you and drop you off. And that's like, those are like KU employees, like it's really safe.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome about campus. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the same in all the universities, but back at home, there's nothing like it. And that's amazing, because it gives you like flexibility to do what you want, even if you don't have a car, or if it's really late, and it doesn't even have to go just to go out, but like sometimes I'm working on projects and for class, and I'm in the lab until like 11, 12.
Right.
And then there's I know that I can stay and work on it because I know there's gonna be a safe way to go. So that's pretty awesome.
And there's also tons of police. So there's like Lawrence police, and KU has this like own kind of police. So you always see like a police officer like just patrolling or I don't know what the scooters are called, but they like stand on them and it keeps going around.
They have segways?
Yeah, they have
I have not, here on campus?
Yeah.
I have not seen a Segway policeman yet.
And the police are really friendly because it's a university town. You know, they like say hi to you. They're really friendly.
That's great. I think this question is regards to what we were talking about earlier, of whether you might stay and work here or go back home. This attendee definitely doesn't want to be cause any offense, but they are wondering, are you ever afraid that you might be called selfish in back home if you decide to stay and work here and not go back home immediately to help with your country's development?
I know there's like a group of people that are really like pushing to make sure like everyone who goes to school abroad like comes back home and like they're really fighting for it. But I mean, everyone makes their own life decisions and there's agencies, so like you can do whatever you want basically. Like if I decide to stay here and work, like I feel like I have like this insane support group that's just gonna be there for me, like whatever.
And something interesting to point out in regards to that also is how the entire world is becoming so much more globalized, and so it's possible and very likely that you could be working for an American company that also collaborates with a company in your home country. You could even be the one who instigates that relationship. So there are so many developments and changes that are going to be happening and continue to happen. And so I think that there's a lot of opportunity for you to make your own decision, to decide what's best for your own life, but then also find opportunities to support your home country as well. Kind of related also to work is, has anyone here participated in an internship?
I have not yet.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of getting one over the summer because I'm going back to my home country, so I feel like it'll be an awesome opportunity to get an internship back home and work there.
That would be
Yeah. I'll probably look for an internship next year because I got this research opportunity and kind of want to go to grad school. So for me, a research opportunity is more important than an internship opportunity. So maybe next year an internship.
I participated in one, but not like in the year that I was in high school here in Lawrence. I think there's a lot of opportunities here in the US, like as a country, to participate in internships because, you know, all the companies need extra help. And if you're really passionate about it and if you're, you know, if you have the qualifications for it that you will have once you start taking classes, you can definitely go for it and find one.
I mean, it isn't too bad like finding an internship. There's multiple career fairs all through the school year. So just a ton of employers come from the area and some people like even further than the Kansas City, Kansas area. So yeah, there's just a lot of employers and you can go talk to them, like hand out resumes, apply for those internships. And yeah, there's just a ton of opportunities.
Have any of you guys participated in the career fairs that happen here on campus?
It's pretty huge,
Yeah.
150 companies or so.
Yeah.
And that's only for like engineering.
That's only for
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. They have different.
Depending on the school, there's different.
Yeah.
Right.
They had like one for education a couple weeks ago and there were like 76 employers for education. There was 150 for engineering, like 80 for journalism. So there's just a bunch of career fairs.
The business career fair is huge.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so that is something that the university does work hard to try and facilitate for students. Here's the last question that has come in is, how is your study life? Like, are you always studying or do you feel you also have free time for exploring and spending time with friends?
We do have some free time, like on the weekends. It feels like we don't, but we do sometimes.
Yeah.
You need to organize yourself.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
balance your life basically, because sometimes you would get too much into studying maybe and you don't get that free time, but that free time is also necessary. So you just have to like learn how to balance it.
And I think you get enough free time in your freshman and sophomore year, the first 3 years. And then it kind of, you know, then you get really involved in studies in your junior year, which, you know, should be the case because you're here to study. And then you get again relatively free in your senior year, I guess.
we also have breaks, like we
Yeah.
had
Oh, yes.
fall break before, and now
Yes.
we're having Thanksgiving break,
Next
right?
week.
Which is nice, like
Yeah.
something that you look for when you don't have breaks. You just picture that you're gonna have 3 days in the future. So
Yeah.
it's good.
That's great. Okay, so we'll start to wrap it up here a little bit. Were there any additional questions on that we had planned that we haven't covered?
Well, no. I mean,
No?
there are additional questions, but to ask them now would be redundant.
Yeah,
So,
because we've already
we
covered a
pretty
lot of
much
it.
covered everything on the list.
Okay. There are a couple of students who are asking about, specifically about requirements to getting into KU. So one of the questions, and I'll help answer this as well, is there any test to get admitted into KU? And I will say that that varies depending on your major. All students whose primary language is not English are required to submit some form of English proficiency test, which we accept a wide variety. We can admit you to your major regardless of your English proficiency level. And so there's a lot of options on that. And I can definitely send, here at the end, I'm going to message our website because depending on what major you're applying for, some majors such as engineering, business, and architecture do require an SAT or an ACT, but then a lot of majors, like within our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, do not require it. So there's a wide variation in admission requirements, and so I think starting out by maybe emailing our office with your specific questions pertaining to your specific area of study would probably be the best, and we can help you individually with that question. So there are some tests that may be required, but then depending on your major, there might only be like an English proficiency test that would be required. And then I think also someone previously asked whether they could be admitted now in 10th standard. And so basically we can admit students based on the equivalent of the end of their 11th grade year. And so for Indian students, I know you take exams at the end of your 10th year and then also at the end of your 12th year. And so we would need something kind of in between that. So we would need your 10th standard exam results as well as transcripts that showed your coursework through the end of your 11th year. We can definitely admit you prior to having completed those 12th standard exams. You will be required to submit those prior to enrollment, but students should always be aware that you don't have to wait until you are completely done with high school to start applying. For example, our fall application opens the September before, so almost a year in advance. You can start applying that early, as long as you've completed what is the equivalent in your country as being the 11th grade year. This is, how is the discipline at KU? Do you mean like the different majors? Is that what you're asking about? Like the majors that you can study? Seeing if that's what you're asking about, which I'm thinking that you're using the word discipline as meaning the options for majors. We have, oh wait, actually maybe you're not. It says the environment at KU. How is the environment? How do you guys feel like the environment is here?
Well, like how disciplined the students are?
Yeah, I guess we can.
Like how hard the coursework is?
Maybe, yeah. Like, why don't we start with that, and we'll see if we get a clarifying question here. But yeah, like, what is the environment like for students? How difficult is it? I think that might be the direction we're going with this question.
I feel like there's a lot of work to be done. Like, there's a lot of homework and a lot of studying that has to happen. But I think, if you want to be great at what you do, then you have to, I guess, learn. So it is, sometimes I struggle, but, it's nothing that I'll be like, I cannot do this because I can't do it. It's just, you just have to put effort into it and then you'll succeed.
I think like the coursework is definitely like challenging, but it's not impossible.
Right.
So, I mean, like everything you do, you have to put in the work, but if you put in the work, then you should be fine.
And it also depends on the class, so like there are classes that are easier, there are classes that are harder,
Right.
but specifically for the ones that are harder, like for example, I would say OChem is a big deal for all the students, and so I'm taking Organic Chemistry 1 right now, and you have a big team of tutors that are there to like help you through like activities or everything. You have the professor, you have TAs, so like in general, you also, in each class, you have a lot of resources to go through that class, and also outside from the class, you also have resources like the AAAC, which is basically also kind of like a group of tutors that can help you through many classes. So I don't know, like you have many resources to go through the classes, even if you're struggling with them.
Yeah, that's great. And now I just lost the other point I was going to make. So I started reading these other questions. So the last couple questions, it says the student from, how are the teachers? Are they cooperative, supportive? Are they, do you ever feel like anyone is like racist or discriminatory or anything like that?
Never had an experience like that.
No.
That's great. That's great to hear.
Actually, like, for example, in my case, a big deal for me was the English. When I came here, I had a lot of struggle speaking, but they help you. When you want to say something and you don't really know how to say it or anything, they make the effort to try to understand you and everything. Not just the professors, like, I guess, most of the people that you connect with here.
Mm-hmm. So when you started here, did you also participate in the Applied English Center?
No,
You
you
didn't?
didn't have to, but
Okay.
it was just like my conversation skills were pretty.
Right. Americans speak fast and use a lot of slang words, which is probably in any culture people do, but that is one complaint that I hear from a lot of international students. So that conversation can be intimidating at the beginning, but do you feel like all of your teachers are very supportive and patient with that?
Yeah.
And in general, in regards to your classwork, do you feel like that is something that is also unique to education in the U.S. Most professors want you to actively participate with them, challenge them, ask them questions, ask them for help. Do you feel like that is true?
In a lot of cultures, like outside of the US, it's not very common for students to like question what the professor is teaching.
Right.
Like, like question the material or question his conclusion. But if you do that here, it's kind of encouraged by the professor. Like, if you're like questioning what the professor is saying, he'll tell you to like, okay, keep going and give me a good reason for doing that.
Right.
He won't just shut you down.
Right. It's very important in U.S. education to develop those critical thinking skills. That's a big focus of the curriculum here. And so I think that's a good example of
And a
that.
lot of professors here are really passionate about, what they teach. And most of the professors here are, I think, like PhDs who also do research outside of the teaching capacity. So if they like do research on a certain topic, they tend to like teach that topic. So they're really passionate about the classes that they teach.
Yeah, that's great. For everyone who is still logged on, I wanted to let you know that a couple of our students, I think, have class that they need to get to. And so I know Abraham definitely needs to. Adrian, did you have class? Also, I thought so. So I think we're going to wrap it up for now, but we want to say thank you so much for participating. And I did send a message on the chat section that includes both our website as well as our email address. But I will go ahead and say that. You guys can go ahead and go. So if you want to say goodbye,
Awesome.
thank you so much for being here. And you guys will hopefully see these guys again when you come to campus. But for any further questions, our website is irua.ku.edu. And our email address is i-recruit@ku.edu. So we definitely hope we will hear from you, and please feel to reach out to us. Also, you can find us on Facebook. That is another great place to find us under University of Kansas. It's the International Recruitment and Undergraduate Admission.
Yes, I believe we are at KUIRUA.
Okay, so thank you so much for participating, and we will be in touch soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.